How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Building a Park in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2. This is my 100 by 100 theme park called Heavenly Hills. And this episode, I did a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of things to cover in this episode. Right now, as you can see, I went and built a junior coaster. And the thought behind this, because so far this is probably... I just kind of was trying to fill in empty space in my park. As you can see, I don't think I zoomed out at any point, but if you've watched any of this series so far, a lot of this park is very much like it's geometric looking, like it's a square of pathway and then a roller coaster shoved into it, and then another square of pathway and then like a couple of rides shoved into it. So what I wanted to do is make something that wasn't just a square, and I wanted to fill in empty space. That's something I think that really can help you with your park is filling in those empty spaces with a ride, with stalls, whatever it is. If your theme park is not empty, then it will look better, because in real life that's the way it is. The other part about it was that I was trying to add in an element of like randomness, I guess. I don't know, if you go to an actual theme park and you look at the park map, it looks like a mess. It does not look the way that you would think it does. Like, if you look at a park map, it always looks like an amoeba or something. It, like, doesn't look correct. It doesn't look organized at all. So that's actually what I try to do, is I'm actually trying to make this less organized, if that makes sense. So that's why I sort of built this roller coaster in the middle of a bunch of other roller coasters, in the middle of a bunch of other rides, because in real theme parks, that's what they do. They literally just have a roller coaster that goes over the path and goes around another roller coaster and goes near all the shops and stalls. Like, that's literally how it is. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. So that's what I did. I built a roller coaster just sort of in the middle of everything. And towards the end of this series, I'm probably going to be doing more of this. I will be building roller coasters in the most random places and just trying to get those empty spaces filled, because that is what will make it look better, I think. So I think that looks better already. I think that area of the park already looks better with that roller coaster there. So I think I accomplished what I was trying to do there. Now I'm building the station platform building. I just finished it, never mind. But shout out to Jerklink, because he had a tutorial video that really helped me in building that building with the windows. He had a window tip that really helped me, and you know, I've already passed that part of the video, so it's a little late to share what I did. But now I went ahead and moved to the back of the park, and I'm making a ocean beach. I thought that this would be a good way to mix it up a little bit. Like, so far this park is sort of like a woodlandsy theme, and I wanted to make it a little bit different, so I added in a beach area, and I'm actually going to build a pier with a roller coaster and a Ferris wheel on it. Kind of like Coney Island is basically the inspiration. As I was like, what does Coney Island have on it? A roller coaster and a Ferris wheel. So that's what I'm doing. This is very tedious, I'm not gonna lie. I actually had to use wooden scenery blocks and just I didn't have to, but I used wooden scenery blocks to build a pier. And that's where the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel are going to be. Now, if you are not using Open RCT2, I don't think this is something you can actually do, because of the support limit is too high. So when you move the land down below the water, that means you can't build anything above the water, because it's too low and the support limits won't support it. So unfortunately, this is something you have to have Open RCT2 to do, because you can disable the support limits in the game. So that's what I did here, and then I just went ahead and built this kind of small roller coaster. I built I think this is a launch coaster, and I used that because you can make some really compact designs, and that's what I really needed in this instance. So far, I've built a bunch of giant roller coasters that are sprawling and loopy and all that stuff. This one, I needed it to be really compact so it would fit onto the pier. And that's what I did. So, I spent a lot of this episode decorating the pier, because I liked it. I thought it was a fun part of it. So even though I have the roller coaster on the pier, I actually wanted to make a building for it, because I thought that would be appropriate, and I actually I basically just copied the building from one of my other coasters that's on the other side of the park. That's an aqua themed coaster, and a water themed roller coaster. I basically just built something similar to that, and that's essentially what I did with the roller coaster. Is I have this white building with the blue stripes, and I believe this one's called White Whale. And that was just the first thing that came to my head. I thought, since it's an ocean or beach coaster, I thought that would be, Anyway, the other part of this that is difficult, if you're planning on ever trying this and building a pier, the one thing you have to remember is that it's going to be very difficult to build scenery on it. So I actually built a lot of scenery on this pier, and it's very difficult to do because you're constantly trying to figure out where you're actually placing all your items, because when the land is so far below the water, you have a hard time figuring out where it's going to come up above the pier when you're building, and it just makes it kind of difficult. So I mean, if you really want to try this, then go ahead, but just know it's a giant pain in the dick. Anyway, so I thought maybe this would be a cool part to build. I built a bunch of like shops and stalls that are out of scenery, just because I thought that might kind of zazz it up a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. This is easily the longest part of this video, was building this part. The roller coaster took no time at all. I threw a Ferris wheel in there as soon as I was done with this. I built the pier in like 5-10 minutes maybe. This took upwards of about 40 minutes to build. Just these buildings, just trying to figure out how it would look natural and look the way that I wanted it to. And shout out to Dirklink again for that scenery tutorial. If you can see those glass windows, I actually use those to make doors and windows that are a little bit more natural. So the tip video that I watched, he suggested using the 3 poles that are in the walls menu. It's like right at the top of the walls menu, and throwing those in front of a glass window, and it makes it look a little bit more natural. And I actually did that, and you can make doors as well, so glass doors. So that I think was a huge help. And admittedly, looking back, all of this I think is unnecessary. All of those windows and all of those doors are completely unnecessary, because I actually built more on the other side of the pathway, and you can't even see it. So it was a lot of work for nothing. But that's how Rollercoaster Tycoon goes sometimes. You try and cover your bases as best you can, in the event that you might be able to see something at a certain angle from a certain distance or whatever. And that's just how it is. So basically the rest of this episode is me just building buildings on the other side, and then I believe I threw in like a food court area next to it, and then dropped my mic. Basically I just built a bunch of buildings and then threw in a food court next to it and a Ferris wheel in the corner. And that was pretty much it. That's pretty much this episode for the most part, was just building the pier and that one roller coaster earlier, that one junior coaster. So this was a scenery heavy video, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they all are pretty scenery heavy, but this one I really just went ape shit, who cares? I don't know why I'm trying to be PG, because no one watches anyway. But yeah, that was essentially, I just went crazy with the scenery, just trying to make this look like a little pier shopping district, whatever you want to call it. This is like a shopping area. And I thought that would be appropriate, because this is something that I've experienced in the past, like going to the beach as a kid. There was always sort of an area like this, like a shopping district, and then out on a pier somewhere. And I live in the U.S., in the southeast of the U.S., so my experience of a beach has always been Florida. I don't know about you guys. Leave in the comments where you went to go vacation as a kid at the beach, because if it's not Florida, let me know. But I'm from the dirty South, so I had to go to Florida. Sorry. It was I don't know why I'm saying sorry, because wherever you guys went to vacation was probably better. So I went ahead and built a support structure sign thing and this section of the park is going to be called Pier Park, because that's actually the name of where I went as a kid. It was called Pier Park. So I thought that would be a nice little tidbit, a little nostalgia trip for me, going back to Panama City Beach as a young child. Fucking PCB! Anyway, so that is essentially it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment and all that stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.